To save his juniors, Jin Sowoon sacrificed his entire life to the Murim Alliance. He memorized every classified martial art, every hidden technique, and every forbidden secret they possessed. But after dedicating everything to them, the Alliance decided to execute him. They believed a man who remembered every secret in Murim was too dangerous to keep alive.
For the safety of the Murim Alliance, you and your memories must disappear.
Jin Sowoon possessed a terrifying ability called perfect memory. If he saw something once, he will never forget it. During the war against the demonic cult, the Murim Alliance used his talent to restore all the records they had lost. However, the more knowledge Jin restored, the more dangerous he became in their eyes. Ironically, the Murim Alliance had already lost the war. When the demonic cult overwhelmed them, the Alliance abandoned countless martial artists just to protect their high-ranking officials. Weak sects were treated like disposable shields, and Jin Sowoon's sect was one of the sacrifices. The Alliance offered him a deal. If he memorized and restored all of their records, his juniors would be removed from the battlefield, desperate to save them. Jin accepted immediately. In the end, none of it mattered. The people he trusted betrayed him. As death approached, Jin was overwhelmed with regret. He regretted being too weak to protect the people he cared about. Then suddenly, everything changed. Jin opened his eyes and woke up somewhere impossible. He was back at the Tae-Yul sect, the very place where he lost everything. And, standing right in front of him were the people he failed to save in his previous life. His juniors were alive again. For a moment, Jin could not believe what he was seeing, although he quickly realized something else too. Junior sister Hong was actually pretty cute when she was younger, and Jiam Pio was apparently still a bedwetter. The others stared at Jin like he had completely lost his mind, but Jin did not care. For the first time in years, he was able to see his juniors again. Unfortunately, the moment did not last long. Gai Cheol-yong soon appeared. He was the spoiled heir of the Gairyong merchant group and a complete psychopath. He used sparring matches as an excuse to brutally beat weaker disciples. Because his family financially supported the sect, nobody dared to stop him. In his previous life, Jin Sowoon suffered endlessly because of this man. Gai Cheol-yong used the Three Glories sword technique, a brutal sword style designed to overwhelm inexperienced disciples. Its attacks were rough, violent, and aimed directly at the eyes. Back then, Jin could memorize techniques perfectly, but he lacked the strength to counter them. However, after surviving battles against the demonic cult, everything felt different now. Compared to the monsters he fought during the war, this technique looked painfully slow.
Lesser Heaven Sword Technique, first form. Let's see if this sword is harder than your head, you bastard.
He just hit him?
Yep, we're so cooked.
Okay. To beat this bastard before I go to the afterlife. Oh, what a gift. Now I can finally...
You stupid moron. You think we're getting beat up because we want to? How are we gonna afford our food now?
Huh? Wait, I'm not in the afterlife?
What the hell are you talking about?
Did I really return to the past?
When Jin Sowoon opened his eyes, he found himself lying in the sect infirmary. Apparently, he had passed out after getting hit by junior sister Hong. While recovering, he started piecing together everything that had happened. After being betrayed and executed by the Murim Alliance, Jin Sowoon somehow returned to the past with every martial art manual still stored inside his head. And thanks to those memories, he was finally able to defeat Gai Cheol-yong. But something still felt strange. Even though his body and clothes had returned to the past, one object came back with him. The Jade Dragon bracelet. A treasure he obtained after defeating one of the demonic cult's guardians during the war. Jin clearly remembered the bracelet glowing the moment he died, which meant this artifact might have something to do with his regression. Before he could think any further, loud shouting echoed throughout the sect. The leader of the Gyeryong merchant group had arrived personally. He demanded that Jin Sowoon be dragged out immediately. To him, Jin was nothing more than a lowly country bumpkin who dared to injure his precious son. The sect leader desperately tried to calm him down. After all, the Taeyul sect survived entirely on funding from the merchant group. Without that money, the sect would struggle to survive. But while everyone else was terrified, Jin had a completely different thought. He had already died once, so this time he decided he would stop tolerating everyone's nonsense. Then Jin finally walked out and greeted the merchant leader directly. The man instantly exploded with anger after seeing him, but Jin remained completely calm. In fact, he even mocked them openly. After all, if Guy Cheol-yong was supposedly talented enough to enter the Murim Academy, then losing to a disciple from a third-rate sect was honestly embarrassing. The merchant leader nearly lost his mind after hearing that. He immediately threatened to cut off all funding to the Taeyul sect. However, Jin suddenly brought up something important. The 108 Peaks. The title given to the top 108 sects of the Murim Alliance. Even though the Taeyul sect had fallen into decline, it still technically possessed one major privilege. Every sect among the 108 Peaks could recommend one disciple directly into the Murim Academy through special admission. And that was the real reason the Gyeryong merchant group forced their son into the Taeyul sect. Not because they respected the sect, but because they desperately wanted access to the academy. The moment Jin exposed that truth, the merchant leader completely lost his composure. In his previous life, Jin and the others tolerated endless humiliation from these people. They obeyed every demand. They even helped Guy Cheol-yong enter the Murim Academy successfully, and in return, the merchant group abandoned them anyway. That was the lesson Jin learned after dying once. Begging others for protection was meaningless. Real power could only come from becoming strong enough to protect yourself, which meant Jin now had only one goal: to become stronger as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, the Taeyul sect's martial arts were mediocre at best. Its cultivation techniques were inefficient, and its swordsmanship was weak. So Jin decided to rely on something else entirely: spiritual elixirs, legendary treasures, capable of massively increasing internal energy. Thanks to memorizing the Murim Alliance's classified records, Jin knew the locations of countless hidden elixirs throughout Jianghu, and the first one on his list was the 10,000-year fire ginseng, a legendary spiritual medicine capable of dramatically increasing internal energy while transforming the user's body completely. However, obtaining it would not be easy because the fire ginseng was guarded by a terrifying monster known as the human-faced spider. Fortunately, Jin also remembered one critical weakness:
Fire. After memorizing hundreds of thousands of martial arts manuals, I finally realized something. Outstanding swordsmanship means nothing. Honor means nothing. Winning is all that matters. Thanks to those Murim Alliance bastards, I already know your weakness. Your webs are highly flammable, which means this entire cave is about to become your grave. I knew that would work. I'm such a genius.
Even after consuming the legendary 10,000-year fire ginseng, Jin Sowoon's internal energy barely increased at all. At first, he blamed the Taeyul sect's cultivation technique for being garbage. But after calming down, Jin realized the real problem might simply be himself. At this rate, he would never become strong enough to protect the Taeyul sect from the future that was coming. During the Great Orthodox Demonic War, weak martial artists would be treated as disposable shields once again, and this time, Jin refused to let his juniors die meaningless deaths. To protect them, he needed to become someone important within the Murim Alliance before the war began, which meant he absolutely had to enter the Murim Academy within the next year. But with his current strength, that goal was impossible. Then suddenly, Jin remembered something important. The Snowplum Pill, a legendary spiritual elixir from Mount Hua. In his previous life, Gai Cheol-yong's father spent an absurd amount of money to obtain it for his son. But before Gai Cheol-yong could consume it, the pill mysteriously vanished without a trace. The identity of the thief was never discovered, which meant one thing. The theft had not happened yet, and that meant Jin still had a chance to steal it first. Using the countless records stored inside his memory, Jin began reconstructing clues from old Murim Alliance reports and mission documents. And before long, he finally found the answer. The thief was someone known throughout Jianghu as the Soul Chaser, Ju Jiang Mok. Meanwhile, something else strange happened. The blue dragon bracelet suddenly absorbed the human-faced spider's core and purified its energy completely. As a result, Jin's internal energy increased far more efficiently than before. For the first time since regressing, Jin finally saw a path forward. Elsewhere, the Gairyong merchant group prepared a massive banquet to celebrate the arrival of the Snowplum Pill. Everyone believed Gai Cheol-yong's future was guaranteed now. After all, with enough money, even talent could be bought. Meanwhile, back at the Tae-yul sect, Hong Saryeon quietly worried about Jin Sowoon. Even though she acted annoyed whenever his name came up, it was obvious she was thinking about him constantly. The younger disciples even saved food for him because they were worried he had not eaten yet. But while everyone else enjoyed the banquet, a shadow silently moved across the rooftops. Soul Chaser, Ju Jiang Mok had finally made his move. After infiltrating the merchant group's secret warehouse, he successfully stole the Snowplum Pill without anyone noticing. The thief could barely contain his excitement. With this legendary elixir, he believed he would finally master the divine palm of vast heaven. But the moment he tried to escape, everything suddenly went silent.
Wait. Sorry about this, but I need it as much as you do.
You made it this far, great. Now, be a good little human and like and subscribe. And maybe I might show you the next part of this story. Ciao, ciao.